What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're back again for draft grades. Each division's gonna get their own video. And first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone that came out and chilled with me while we watched the draft. It was a ton of fun. It was a bit draining at points, almost 8 hours on day 3. That was kind of whew. But yeah, no, it was great, and look forward to bringing more content to you. So we're gonna have like 2 divisions next 4 days. As well, that's going to give me time to work on I'm going to start doing mock draft for 2021, a little too early one, as well as the push out some rankings for that, and then kind of figure out what other content to do moving forward. But go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you thoroughly enjoy the content. That's always much appreciated, much obliged. It really helps out the channel a ton. But we're starting with the AFC East, and if I get anything wrong, just go ahead, let me know in the comment section below. I might miss something. It happens. And weirdly enough, I only have 3 teams with A+ grades, but I got like 9 teams with A grades. And kind of how this works is like my grade, the way I grade, like it's super hard to get an F. You gotta like throw your whole draft. D's typically teams that just did below average and just didn't do very well. C is literally average. Teams that had some good, some bad, so-so drafts. So there will be C's sprinkled in here. And then B's, above average drafts, basically where I thought they did well. Maybe they reached on the right type of guys. And then A, just knocking it out of the park. And then also in that B category are teams that played it extremely safe. That they had a good draft, but it was a safe draft. So A is just above and beyond, obviously. So starting with my first A, Buffalo Bills. I gave them an A. I really like their draft. They got great value with their first 2 picks. AJ Epinesa, Zach Moss. I thought those were home runs. Those were bangers of picks. Gabriel Davis. I think for me, I had a 5th round grade on him. I don't mind reaching on a guy though around early. Gabriel Davis honestly provides an heir apparent potentially to John Brown. The guy's got phenomenal speed. He doesn't have too much of a route tree, but you can develop that in the next few years. Jake Fromm was just a steal at pick 5, and well, I guess I should say round 5. And then I'm not too high on, this is what kind of probably took the grade, notched the grade down from A+ to A, was I'm not big on getting kickers. I get it, kickers get drafted, but I feel like you get kickers in free agency, and I'm not touching undrafted free agents that got picked up. Not touching those. Is solely what teams did in the draft. Isaiah Hodgins was a really, really good value pick, as well as Dane Jackson. So overall, a really good draft for the Bills. And then next, we're going to go to the Miami Dolphins, to which I gave them a B. They did a few things I really liked, and then left me wanting more in some picks. The Tua pick, not having to trade up. Keeping your draft picks to get to it, I thought was huge. If that's the guy they wanted to go with, I'm glad they didn't have to trade up for him. Austin Jackson, I really just wanted Josh Jones. I have him higher on my board. I'm surprised how far he fell. Austin Jackson, high upside athlete. Just he needs a little bit more development, and that's kind of the theme of their draft. Is they got a bunch of guys with some good upside, but they're not too far along when it comes to how their technique and how much they need to refine in their game. They're developmental prospects with huge upside. Noah Igbinoghene, he's up there. Robert Hunt was an interesting pick. Still with Josh Jones on the board. It really hurt to see that, but I'm a big fan of Robert Hunt. I had a 3rd round grade on him though, but there was a ton of hype like the last 2, probably a day or 2 before the draft, that he may go in the 1st round. So I get why they went with him, where they went with him. Raekwon Davis, a guy, again, huge upside, but hasn't really had the production by it. If anything, they got a real elite run defender. And then Brandon Jones, I've kind of come around to. I do see the comparisons to Patrick Chung in Brandon Jones, a guy, he's very athletic, an elite athlete in some terms, just has been terrible in coverage. He does he is at his best when he's close to the line, in the slot, in the box. So I see that they're going to probably use him like that. Solomon McKinley, I thought, again, was a reach a guy, a very good run defender, but very sloppy in his technique and in how he uses his hands, but high upside. Jason Strowbridge was good value in the 5th round, and I've been saying this since putting him in my rankings. Guys with his type of versatility, like along the defensive line, that you could really put him anywhere. He does a lot of things good, but not great. They typically go in the 5th round. Here he is going in the 5th round. Curtis Weaver, though, was an absolute steal. I loved it. If you were there with me on day 3, I was hammering my head every time Curtis Weaver got passed on. Blake Ferguson, they got a long snapper. And then Malcolm Perry is interesting guy that they could maybe put in the return game. He could be some sort of gadget player. But a lot of intrigue. Again, there's stuff I like about it, but you could tell that these guys, that they're not playing for next year, in my opinion. These are guys that might not see many snaps this year either, but they are looking towards the future with these high upside guys. And then on to the New England Patriots. I gave them a B-. I loved in my opinion, they swindled the Chargers in the 1st round, being able to get a 2nd and a 3rd to move back. And what they did with those picks, I thought were phenomenal. Kyle Duggar, Joshua Uche, total Patriot type players. I love it. Anthony Jennings was the emphasis of a Patriot-like player. It was almost impossible, really, to mock him anywhere else. As far as the tight ends, I'm a bit indifferent about. They weren't the highest tight ends on my board. Asi and Dalton Keene, but there is a lot to like about them. They are guys with, like, Asi has big physical upside, while Dalton, a lot of athletic upside. Just guys that haven't necessarily produced last year. You could kind of blame that maybe on Virginia Tech's, how they tried to scheme Keene, and Asi was part of a struggling UCLA team, but they traded 6 picks to trade up for these guys. That's the thing I kind of have a problem with. Then they get a kicker that wasn't even in my rankings. Granted, it's a kicker in the 5th round. Michael Onwenu, though, was a steal. I love it. Justin Herron was a pretty solid pick there in the 6th, and I could kind of care less about their last 2 picks. So overall, a B- grade. They did a few things good. For the most part, it was an above average draft for the Patriots, but I feel like that's kind of the Patriot way. They draft who they want when they want. And then the New York Football Jets, I gave them a B+. They did a lot of things good, and then I kind of questioned something in the middle. But the Becton pick, I'm not high on. I'd rather Tristan Wirfs. I'd rather Josh Jones. I get his upside, but those guys are just way more polished than him. Some people love it, some people don't. I'm part of the party that doesn't, but I love Denzel Mims. Them being able to trade back and still get him, phenomenal. Ashton Davis was a great pick in the 3rd round. Bari Zuniga, I get it. The guy has a huge physical upside. He kind of reminds me a lot of Ja'Kai Polite without kind of the weight concerns and the character red flags. So I get why he went in the 3rd round, but I had a 5th round grade on them. But their first 4th round picks I didn't like. Perrine was a 7th rounder in my opinion, and then James Morgan, I had him I think around the 7th round to undrafted. I was shocked when he came off the board ahead of guys like Cole McDonald, Nate Stanley, Anthony Gordon, Josh Love, Tyler Huntley. So I was a little bit shocked about that, but I guess if they like him, I mean, the guy's got a big arm. He just doesn't make a lot of big time throws. But I really liked the next 2 picks. Cameron Clark, the guy, I moved him a little up my rankings because I really like his, I think he can play on the outside if they really want him to, but he might be best at guard. He's not as, he doesn't provide a lot of athleticism or that you'd like to see from your tackles, but he's got good length, good size. So a quality pick there. Bryce Hall, absolute steal in the 5th round. Jets did good there. Then they got a punter. So overall, B+ for the Jets. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. That's always much appreciated, much obliged. And obviously, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.